So this is Bob. He is a medical student who is working so hard to be a doctor, and today he also studied so hard and came back home. And he's so tired to cook. He don't know how to cook. He don't have time to cook. So he decides to open his Uber Eats as usual and orders some chicken salad and noodles from Mr. Lee's Chinese takeout place. And after finishing the food, he realizes that he's left with all those kinds of plastic containers with sauces covers with them that are already attracting bugs. So he has to clean and wash the dishes. But as I said, he's so tired. And so he decides to leave a one-star review on Mr. Lee's Chinese restaurant. And meanwhile, Mr. Lee is confused by the one-star review he got from a millennial customer just for using too much plastic. And he's also confused by the new Canadian restriction on single-use plastic because he bought hundreds of plastic containers just ahead to prepare for the inflation. But now, due to the single-use plastic restriction, he can't use the containers that he already bought. These kind of complicated, frustrating problems can be solved by repack, takeout, waste-free. Hi, my name is Jan.
And who's Valeria? And my name is Rivka. Alright, so we're gonna start with the problem. I just want to know, how many of you guys ordered takeout in the last 2 weeks? Alright, so like a bunch of you. That's great. People order over million take. In a day, there's like millions of takeouts that are being ordered. These orders contain easily filled packages of these type of containers. They will end up in your garbage sooner or later and then in a landfill. These are extremely bad for the environment since they contain PFAS. For those who don't know what they are a list of chemicals that are extremely dangerous for the environment and you guys. They can easily get into the land, water, and even air. For us humans, it can increase the risk of cancer, liver damage, and even asthma. These containers are not only bothersome for us, but also for the restaurant owners. They think that buying them is really expensive, and considering they're only going to be used most of them are only going to be used once. This looks bad on them, and they miss opportunities for people buying from them.
This is where our company comes in place. So our solution to this problem is to work with restaurants in order to maximize the life cycle of food containers while minimizing their effect on the environment. So our first step would be to provide the sustainable containers to the restaurants up front. Then these would be delivered to the customer, which will then be taken and collected after the consumer is done by our company and washed in a sanitary way to make sure that it is ready to be reused later on.
And to explain in more details our containers will be made by polypropylene. And you might be wondering, isn't polypropylene also plastic? Isn't it a contradiction? However, polypropylene is kind of a plastic that doesn't release toxins and is also relatively has low carbon footprints, and it's also safe to human health. And another fact is that polypropylene is a material that the Canadian government suggested for a substitution for the single-use plastic restriction. Another benefit of the polypropylene is that it is heat resistant, so it is perfect for continued hot foods and also perfect for washing in high temperatures to keep hygiene.
Next comes the application that we will be providing the consumers in order order to collect the packaging that they've used. So this application would present at the top a garden which would illustrate to the consumer the change that they have done through their association to our company and through providing us with the containers so that they can be reused and brought back to the restaurants to create less waste. At the bottom below the garden, we can also see some information that would be provided to the consumers about the restaurants that are in partnership with us, and this would show percentages of the restaurants and how they have done some changes, and for example, the amounts of trees that they've saved through the partnership with our company instead of using non-reusable packaging for their food containers. At the bottom, the second slide next to the home button, we can also see sort of a scanning area, and this is where the consumer would have their own QR code, which the pickup person would come and scan, which would then give the consumer points, which would be represented in the garden. And this is how we would be collecting the containers from the consumers.
And we further conducted some research to find how many plastic were wasted due to takeouts and why the small restaurants need our service. According to Environmental Defense, more than 1 million tons of plastic waste it costs, and due to Rockman, an assistant professor at the University of Toronto, she believes that most comes from takeout. And also we found a research of an interview with small restaurant owners, Connor Jarvin, who is owner of Stugo, and he said the cheapest, most durable, and cost-effective option, and that's the black plastic. It shows that small restaurant owners use single-use plastics because they're cheap, and this is why they need our service to get support by us by providing containers to them.
All right, so we conducted a survey to know who our target audience would be, and people from the ages 16 to 20 answered they order takeout 2 to 10 times a month, which is like 54.7 other people we asked. Some other people said that it is an inconvenience having to wash the containers before putting them in the garbage, and the others said that the takeout plastic is just too much.
And those statistics from before help us illustrate how the effect of these non-reusable plastics on the consumer, and perhaps how consumers would be more willing to partner up with us and to help us in reusing containers. And so, since our main sort of target would be the restaurants, these are some pricing plans that we would offer them in order for them to have our service. So for restaurants that want a standard subscription and want to have 0 to 500 containers a month, they would have to be paying us $250 for our service. For the premium subscription, where they would want 500 to 1,500 containers a month, they would have to pay a maximum of $400 a month. And for any restaurants that want to partner up with us and to have over 1,500 containers a month, they would have to meet with us in order to create a plan to accommodate their needs more better. And some of these calculations that go into this is the labor cost, so the pickup cost and the cleaning cost, as well as the renting of the cleaning facilities. And in order to surpass these costs and to start making profit, we would have to partner up with restaurants that have 2 standard subscriptions and 3 restaurants at premium subscriptions.
All right, so for marketing strategies, we are based in our target audience, which is young adults and teens. These people often use TikTok and Instagram more than any other social media. So we're planning on creating accounts on both those social medias to get out there and tell them what our ideas are and show them how it would be done. We will also create ads in both of the platforms for more people to know. Yeah.
And so our ultimate goal is what we have presented for now. But first, to start off, our plan is to cooperate with universities and colleges. And for this case, we're planning to cooperate with Seneca. Specifically, we want to cooperate with Metro Grill, a restaurant in Seneca College. As you can see from the map, the yellow boxes illustrate the collecting sites we will put for the restaurant so that students and faculties in Seneca could easily take out from the restaurant and easily return the containers back. And this would also help cut the plastic usage in Seneca College. So this is Repack.
Plan to work with us in order to make takeout waste-free. Thank you.
Great presentation, and I was curious who made the graphics for the first one. You did? You guys did? It was awesome. I really liked it. I think I just wanted to give feedback on the university and colleges idea. That pilot was really awesome. I think it was tough to think about in my mind first. Oh, City of Toronto, someone has to come pick up in traffic your containers that's left out at the door. I'm like, how would the logistics work? That sounds like a nightmare, 1,500 containers. But then when you said campuses, it made a lot more sense because it's very short distance, can be like 1 or 2 people, you can self-serve. I think that's a great idea.
Thank you.
Yeah, out of all the ideas that are there, just my humble opinion, you're ahead of your time on this idea out of everybody else that I've heard today. And it's not to judge you or to judge anyone else, but it's you're dealing with a problem, a question, and it reminds me of back in the day when there were milkmen who would. I'm just looking around. I don't see anybody old enough to remember, but does anyone remember this? Yeah, there were these people that would come back and collect your bottles and then fill them up again. You'll see them in movies. But it's the same concept that you're bringing back, and there was benefit in that. But you're applying it in a slightly different way. So I just wanted to tell you that I love that, and I think you're ahead on something. I think you got just think about some logistical points, and until that last slide, I had the same questions Lynn had of how are you going to get these people to buy in and do it. So I love how you've closed in that proximity. That's all I would tell you is just to think through the journey, because when you passed, and this is just my feedback to you because I want to see this idea come to life, is that when you talk about the user being Bob, and that was great. Who did Bob, by the way? Who was it? Okay, that was amazing. Way to live it. Way to get in there. But when you did that, and you talk about Bob being a good user, did you ask the restaurants, what's the split on their market? How many students are they serving? You answered the question at the end when you talked about doing it inside of Seneca as an area, but as you grow further outside, it's things to think about. But I just loved that you're ahead of your time on it, and I hope you do this.
Thank you.
Yeah, I love the idea too, but this is obvious. Why are we not doing this? And at the first, I think everyone's brain goes to, well, how do you pick up? How do you make that whole system work? But I think there's great opportunities there. One is that the person that brings the food to you in the skip the dishes thing could also pick up the stuff on the way back. And the only way that's going to work is if like beer bottles, there's like a 15 cents per thing, or there's some like a economy around it for everybody. Have you thought about that?
Yeah,
We had thought about that before, but we just weren't too sure about how that would work yet, but it was something that we did consider.
But if you wrestle with that, then there's a huge opportunity there, and the idea of a closed loop in a Seneca or in a very specific spot is genius. The only question I have about the presentation is you talked about your marketing all going to young adults and teens, you can throw that slide out. Everybody has this problem, right? And the reality is the real market is the restaurants. Because if you get the restaurants on board with this idea, then everyone else will continue following along, right? Oh, like collecting beer bottles, I can get $1 back and save the environment if I collect everything, put them in a special place and put them all back with my skip the dishes guy. This is a great idea. Well done.
Thank you.